Right. 5分? 短くないか? Zell's like, isn't that a little bit too short? He uses the word 短い, which is short or brief. Zorn says, 俺たちの、シミュレーションでは5分で作戦完了できたはずだ. So, in our simulations, we've been able to do it inside 3 minutes. This is 作戦完了, which is completion or conclusion. シードなら、楽, I think this is 楽. 楽, katsu. 楽勝. Easy victory or a walkover. 楽勝だろ? So because you're seed, you should find this easy, right? Hey, Magorius, I've only just started learning how to read hiragana. Do you have any tips for a novice teaching themselves? How are you teaching yourself at the moment? Like, well, are you using like a book to learn, or are you using like... I think the only real advice that I have is to write like a lot, right? Don't just practice reading it, but writing it, because writing is the thing that actually helps your brain remember the stuff. One of these books here in my bookshelf is just, I don't know which one it is. I don't want to pull out something that, is it this one? No, that's not the right one. I have one of these books is just me writing hiragana characters over and over and over again, so I memorize them. And doing that is a lot. It leads to you remembering things a lot better. I did that with hiragana, but when I got to katakana, I started doing that less. And to this day, I still have a lot of trouble reading katakana. Like every time I have to stop and I have to look at the letters and have to think about it. Whereas hiragana, I don't have to do that. It just goes straight into my head now. The other thing, I don't know if you were here when we mentioned this earlier, but there is a app that you can get for your phone or tablet called Human Japanese, and that walks through how to read and write all the hiragana characters. So if you want like an extra, as well as like grammar and basic words and stuff. So like, if you want something to look at and learn, I'd always recommend that app. Oh, TC, I forgot to read your thing earlier. Yeah, I'm almost never sure how to read it when it's paired with a number, especially with one that has an onyomi that's common enough. So I immediately looked at it and I'm like, is it yonbun? It's yonpun, I think. I'm looking at the dictionary and it's shibun, but both my guesses are wrong. I think for minutes it's yon... Hang on. I think there's an app that I have that tells you how... I'm very curious about how you read this, because I'm pretty sure it's yonpun. No, it doesn't do that here. Interesting. Magoros, right, okay, thanks. I'm using worksheets and online tests at the moment. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Saturn, I think it's Yonpun too. I don't know why, but it just makes sense to my brain, and my brain isn't coming up with an alternative. Magorius, I don't know if there are any other apps that would like teach you how to do it. I know there is an app. I have it on my phone called Kanji Teacher, and maybe you can use that to also do the hiragana, but at the same time I haven't used it that much, so I don't know if I'd recommend it or not. TCL was, yeah, so maybe that's why it's an M1 kanji. Yeah, true. Selfie is like, rakusho. It's gonna be easy. Squall was just like not saying anything as usual. Renal says, じゃあ、5A2 のセンサーの説明は What's にお願いするわね。Okay, so What's is going to talk to us about the sensor. 5A が見回りに使うセンサーは2つ。So there's two sensors that look around. So there's 音声 and 音動. I think that's right. So 音声 is voice, speech, or sound. And then 音動 is temperature. So there's going to be a sound temperature and a temperature sensor. I can't even do English today. それぞれ特徴が違う. Okay, so the characteristics of each are different. 特徴 is feature, trait, or characteristic. Foiled again. Hey Saturn, where did you look it up? Because I was having trouble looking it up on Disho. Oh, of course we have the word jigal, which is to differ or vary. Alright. 音声センサーは歩いたり走ったりして音を立てると作動する. I think this is 作動する. The Japanese word for 4 minutes is 4分 and 5 minutes is 5分. Is it saddle? It's not. It is operate. Okay, so saddle is a word meaning operational function. 音を立てる. That's a terribly long link, sorry. Oh no, that's okay. So 音を立てる is to make a sound. So the whole sentence says the sound sensor, the 音声 sensor, if you run or walk, it will operate based on the sound that running or walking makes. Google Translate is not always accurate. So true. 青い制服の声が持ってる. Okay, so the soldiers wearing blue uniforms are the ones that are holding the sound sensor. Oh, I'm going to screw this up as soon as we get into the game. And then uniform is 制服. Okay. Oh, I forgot motsu. Motsu is to hold something. Ondo sensor はずっと同じ場所に止まっていると作動する. So the temperature sensors are operating continuously in a single spot. It looks like they operate based on if you stop in a particular spot long enough, it will sense you. 赤い制服の声が持っている. So the red guards have the temperature sensors. 声が窓に近づいてブラインドを上げたときはセンサーでチェック中だから要注意する. So as the guards walk past the blinds, they'll open them and use the sensors to check. So you have to be careful when they're nearby. Just a second, I'm looking up a word here. Ageru is to raise or elevate. So whenever the blinds are open, they're checking things. And you need to be your chewy. Chewy by itself is to mean caution or care, but your chewy is like requiring special attention or care. As far as translation goes, Google is awful, but at least for getting in the ballpark of pronunciation, it's pretty good at that. Okay, that's good to know. Sensor no yuko hani. Yuko is effective in this case, and then hani is going to be range. Or it can mean range, it can also mean the extent of something, but in this case it definitely means range. Okay. Yuko hani wa mado. I forgot to write down mado. Mado is the character for window, which is apparently an N5 word, so there you go. Mado something. Is that window frame? Let me see if I can just do a quick search for... Madowaku is a window frame. Okay. Yuko hani wa madowaku hitotsu bun hoto. Okay. This is a complicated word. I'm not entirely sure what it reads. So I know that we have the character for minute, which is fun, and one for hodo, and we have one for do, for degree. And that means... I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so tedo by itself means degree or extent. So sometimes when I'm looking at words, I'll just break, and I can't, like, if I go back a second, Jisho doesn't know what this word is, and so I'm like, okay, well, how do I break this up? So I literally removed the character from the start to see if that meant a word by itself, and I got tedo, which is a word by itself, which means that the other word is probably a word by itself. And so if thinking about that, tedo is a degree or amount of something. And then we have just this part. And one of the ways that it can be read is as a part of something. Which means that it's not a minute, it's one part. Hitotsubun. So one part. And the whole sentence reads Madogi wa hitotsubun tedo rashi. So the effective range of the sensor is going to be just about as big as one window. So it's like the sensor can only read the thing that's on that window, not the one beside it or the one or to the other side of it. Random Scottish guy. Wow, I had a look at the word lists on Google Sheets. That's amazing. You really put a lot of effort into it. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually have a program running that's capturing all of the words for me. So like getting it into Google Sheets is not quite copy and paste. There's a few fiddly bits and pieces I have to do, but like, yeah, there is some work involved. TC Alma says it's probably that Hitotsubun is using the pun as a counter. Yeah, what you said. Cool. I was right. だから自分の真下の窓際を注意するだけで OK する。So, I think this is mashita. And it is. Mashita is a word that means right under or directly below. And Watts is saying basically, as long as you're They can only see you underneath the window, so as long as you're careful while you're under the window, you're going to be okay. ってことは、どうやってセンサーを回避するんだ? So Zell's asking, so how exactly do you avoid the sensors? Just give me 1 second, I've got to close the blinds here. Still have exactly one spot of light coming in from the blinds and I can't block it. That's really annoying. Watson says, okay. Wow, there's a lot of text on the screen. Aren't you happy? I'm going to ignore the text at the top. I'm just going to read what Watts is saying. Because it's more likely to be conversational and the text at the top is more likely to be abbreviated and making it harder to understand. So Watts says, ブラインドが自分の真下で開いたときは So when the blind directly above you is opened, he says aku, which is to open. Can I move this way a little bit? Yeah, that works. 声のセンサーが反応しない行動を取ればいいですよ。行動を取ればいい。So you should perform in a way that means the sensor does not react. 反応しない does not react. And then he says to 行動. 行動 by itself is a word meaning action, conduct. But there is a phrase which is to 行動を取る, which is to take action. So it's saying like basically try to act in a way that doesn't set off the sensors when the guard opens a window. TCLMA says, ooh, I just thought of a neat trick for something, but it will require a ton of explanation, a tiny bit of classical Japanese. I'll wait a little until after this part since it's so intense with all the technical terms and stuff. Yeah, that's, I want to hear it, but like once we get through the train section, maybe once I find a save point, which I'm hoping is after this at some point. センサー回避方法については以上で終わりね。So, how to avoid the sensors is... Oh, he's already done explaining it. Okay. I guess we needed the explanation on the screen.